damn it, I got to be the vampire. Oh, what, I got a big mouth on me, so you kicked me out? Big deal.
Your iconic entrance.
There were people that were trying to pin me and against each other. Yeah, long live the Vag. You know they've thrown your name around about being Sister Abigail.
Welcome if you're in Ring the Belle. This is DS, and I am here with the iconic Ariel of ECW, Shelly Martinez.
That's
oh my
me.
God. Finally, this is happening. I'm so excited.
Let's do it. I'm excited too because I know that you wrote me a long time ago. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I said, check back with me. And then when you hit me up again, I was just like, you know what? Yeah, let's do it.
Ring the Belle fan has been waiting for so long because you're one of those, what they call living in our head rent-free, because you are just so iconic. I'm just like sweating right now in this sunny California, by the way. I'm wearing this Ariel Kevin Thorn like all black look. And you're looking here all sunny.
Look, I do have my bat necklace on with all due respect.
I do love that.
Okay, here's the thing. Being a vampire isn't what you wear. It's a lifestyle.
Oh, that's what you told me during the costume contest.
This is not a costume.
It's true. People are like, if you're a vampire, why are you so tan? The tan-pyre. Because just because I'm a vampire doesn't mean I can't be tan. I'm at my best self when I'm tan.
I actually was wondering that because and thank you. I don't know such subcategories of vampire, tan-pyre.
I was very blessed. This is why it gets on my nerves to no end when people are like, oh, Shelly's bitter, blah, 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 just because I maybe say some truths they don't like or whatever. Mm-hmm. How can I be bitter when the fact that I got to be like the only female vampire in WWE or F. Sometimes people were like, Luna. I'm like, she wasn't a vampire though. God rest. She was not a vampire. That to me is so freaking cool. Even though I only had my little 15 minutes of fame in WWE, it means so much to me because I am a vampire.
You said you're a real life vampire.
I am a vampire.
It's part of your life. Yeah.
It's part of my life. Here's the thing. I actually have a huge anxiety about death. Always have. Because I grew up with seeing way too many things and experiencing way too many things at a young age. For me, when I learned what vampires really were through Lost Boys, it wasn't a cartoon or whatever, it intrigued me because I was like, they don't die. That was my safe place, is if you're a vampire, you don't die. As long as you watch your back and you go by the rules, you don't die. So that's why I became, as a young girl, so obsessed with vampires.
It is really interesting because especially in Diva era, we always hear about just like nightmare stories of getting characters that has nothing to do with what they are. Mole, for example.
God bless Jillian Hall. She ran with it though.
Yes. But I love that you got the character that fits you so perfectly. So how did that happen?
That is such an interesting situation. They sent me to Louisville to OVW with Diva Search girls that didn't make it through like wherever they were at the Diva Search at that time. And then the only other pro wrestler that they sent down there besides me was Angel Williams, aka Angelina Love. And then when I went down to OVW, I moved my life from California to Kentucky. That's when Tommy Dreamer was like, okay, so what's going to happen is you're going to be a vampire. We're going to bring back the Brood, and Gangrel's going to be in it. This guy, Kevin Seven, and Jimmy Wang Yang.
Oh, my Korean uncle. Yes, I love him. I love him. Yeah.
And I was like, holy cow, I'm going to be a vampire with freaking Gangrel. Like, holy crap. I can't remember the timeline, but it was within the first week of me being at OVW. And there's like a day where you're supposed to come like dressed up in like a gimmick for the office and film, whatever. So I was told to come in the vampire outfit, whatever. So when I get there, I'll never forget this. In the girls' locker room, Mickey James was on the ground and she was like getting her makeup together. And I went in there and I was like, where's Kevin at? Because I knew me and Kevin at the time at OVW was Kevin Seven. He was supposed to do this promo with me because we're going to go be with Gangrel and Jimmy Wang Yang, you know? She was like, oh, he got let go. And I was like, what? And this was right after the sweeps of WrestleMania. So that's when they get rid of a bunch of people for like their budget or whatever they do. So they let go of Gangrel, Jimmy Wang Yang, and Kevin Seven. And I'm like, I thought I was going to be a vampire.
The whole crew's gone.
They're gone. And that was in July of 2005. Fast forward July 2006. Who ended up being a vampire any damn way with Kevin Seven turned Kevin Thorn? This right here. Damn it, I got to be the vampire.
Right. But I love that because, like, I'm guessing that everybody knew that you were the vampire person.
Oh, of course.
That's why they pushed it.
So when it went down was when it was a year later. That's when they had the one night stand with ECW. And then Dreamer pulls me aside. He was like, so you're going to be a tarot card reader and then you're going to get bit and you're going to become a vampire. And I was like, I almost took a bump. I was like, what? I'm going to be a vampire after all? And so that's how it all effing happened. For me, Ariel was a combination of myself, Drusilla from the Buffy the Vampire Slayer series, Baby Firefly from Rob Zombie, his wife, when she plays those crazy characters in his movies, and Lily Munster. So that was the cocktail of Ariel. Drusilla, for example, it was really hard for me to talk with my fangs without a lisp. So she would talk real slow. So I was like, that helps with my lisp. So I'm just gonna be like a Drusilla. And she was very like luring and like, you know, like this.
Right.
You know. So that's what I did. And then when I was comical and like, that's Lily Munster. And then when I'm screaming, that's Baby Firefly.
Got it.
When they asked me what they wanted my name to be, I wanted to be called Star because that's the main vampire girl in the Lost Boys name.
Okay.
So I was like, ooh, and I love stars anyway. So they were like, no, we can't do that. I was like, dang. So they gave me a list and I saw Ariel, and being I am a SoCal girl, I was like the Little Mermaid. And to me, wrestling was like that thing when I would watch The Little Mermaid growing up. It's like, I want to be part of that world. I want to be part of that world. And so, oh my gosh, I could almost cry about it right now. Like, that's what it was. Every time I go to Disneyland, I go to Snow White's wishing well. I wish to be in WWF. I see a shooting star. I wish to be in WWF. That was me trying to get out of this small world that I lived in.
Part of the world.
Yes.
We're going real deep.
And you want to go deeper? Look how I got fired. I lost my voice. I said too much. My mouth getting me in trouble. What did Ariel do? She had to learn. The Ariel name is deep and people don't think about it. Like sometimes they'll think, oh, Little Mermaid, but when they know me as Ariel, and it's because I didn't realize how sexual people, like when I did the whole
view you?
Yeah, because the Joey Styles like infamous lap dance I did.
Yes, I was gonna talk about that.
So I didn't realize it was a thing until people started asking. I'm like, oh, that? Like,
oh, casual. Yeah.
Oh, okay. What had happened is Tony Gurria, he was at Gorilla. And he told me something to the effect that he goes, we want to play a rib on Joey Styles. So go up to him and really give it to him and give him a lap dance. I said, okay. And so I went out there. And then when I came back, he was laughing so hard. And I remember thinking, what's the big deal? And then he was like, oh my God, that was awesome. And blah, blah, blah. And I think maybe Dean Malenko may have been with him. I love Dean Malenko. Oh my God, I love him. I think they were laughing really hard. And I never understood why until like 10 years later, and people kept asking me about it. I'm like, what's the big deal? Like, yeah, I gave him that lap dance. And then one day I'm like, look, let me watch this. Let me see how it was. And I'm like, no wonder why my family's weird to me about my wrestling.
I kind of can't believe how unaware, how sexy you are.
I was. I know it sounds dumb, but I was just doing my job.
We have to talk about your iconic entrance because it's still to this day one of the most memorable entrances of all time. I think along with Melina's splits, I think it's just so iconic. How did you come up with this?
Back when we talked about when I went to OVW for like a week. So at that time, I was a bartender and cocktail waitress at a strip club. One of the duties I had was I had to clean the poles and the mirrors. And I chose to do the opening shift to like happy hour because I would just busy myself with cleaning all day.
Okay.
It was really slow because, 11 o'clock at a strip club, you know?
Yeah.
And so a lot of guys were just regulars that used it as a bar. So the DJ and I would get bored. He loved wrestling. So what he would do is he'd play wrestling theme entrances and I'd come down the ramp. I remember one time I did Triple H. I drank the water and I spit it up because there was no one there.
While cleaning.
Exactly. I cleaned it up. What the DJ would do, he goes, something happens to our waitress, Shelly, when we play Rob Zombie. And so he'd play a Rob song. And I'd act like I would get like possessed. And then I would start cleaning to the music. And then I would climb up to the top of the pole and then come swing down, but like hold it. So I was like cleaning the pole.
Okay.
And I get extra tips that way.
Okay.
So fast forward, I'm in OVW, I'm with Beth and Aaron, and I'm talking with Beth about entrances. I told her that whole story. I said, I always wanted to be able to come down like how the girls would.
Right.
What if we used the ropes to do like a bend back and open up the ropes for Aaron? So that's what we did. So then when I became the vampire, I was like, oh, arms crossed, that's it. I just thought it would look really cool. And then I added really opening up my legs and going in there and undressing Kevin. But here's the thing.
Okay.
Kevin and I often did not get along when we were working together.
That's what I heard, which was so surprising because the sexual tension was there.
It's called I'm a good actrice. I would talk crap to him when he would be like this to me. I'd be like, F you, you asshole, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
On TV. Well,
yes.
You can't hear it, but
yeah. But I didn't realize how sexual. I was just doing my thing, man.
So funny.
I was just doing my thing.
So there were a lot of people that sent in this question. You know that on SmackDown versus Raw game, your entrance was included, right? Did you scan for it? What was it? What's the tea there?
Let me tell you the tea. After WrestleMania, they scanned me for the game. I was so excited, dude. I was so excited. I was like, this is so freaking cool. I'm going to have an action figure come out. I'm going to be in this game. I just went to WrestleMania, even though WrestleMania, there was drama backstage, but whatever. When I got released, when time went on and then that game got released, people brought that to my attention. Yeah. I received no credit or royalty from that. Now, I will say this. This is really weird. So I'm going to go ahead and put it out here, right here exclusively on your show. A few months back, I got a letter from some attorney's office saying that WWE was trying to locate me and that they owed me some money. It's not much, less than $100. Okay. So it's not much. But hey, tacos. They gave me until June to write the person back to give them my new address. Mm-hmm. So I did that, heard nothing. Then I followed up, heard nothing. And then, so I don't know if maybe that's some monies that are owed for me from that, but it seems kind of like a low number. Yeah. But here's the thing. WWE, look, they've tried to erase me because it took them a really long time for them to ever acknowledge me. They do it usually around October, which makes sense. But there was a long time they didn't. And I wasn't on their alumni page or anything. There's people that have done way worse than I did. Oh, what? I got a big mouth on me, so you kicked me out? Big deal. There's people that did some shady things, cost the company money. And that's when I was just like, dude, it's all a work. Like, it doesn't even matter. Bottom line is, you owe me money. I don't care if it's less than $100. I want my money so I can get tacos, cannabis, and vodka.
It seems like Kevin and you are now good friends, and you're doing the appearances together and all that. When did that relationship got better? Is it during WWE time?
No. Kevin and I did not like each other, but at the same time, we'd have moments. Like, when we went to overseas, the first time I ever tried real absinthe was with Kevin, and we got really drunk together. So we were good drunk buddies. But it wasn't until I was in TNA, actually, and I was doing my thing over there, and WWE had some sort of event or show or something. So TNA moved their schedule around it because, you know, they don't want to lose out on attendance, whatever. So we were in town at an off time, and there was a lot of WWE people there. And I was at the Applebee's that we'd always go and eat at, and Kevin was there, and I didn't know how to be because I'm a person, I'll confront you. Like, if there's been a problem, and I'm not fake. I'm not going to be like, oh, hi. I'm just like, dude, don't shake my hand. We'll just walk away. Leave me alone. That's who just leave me alone, or do you want to hear it? Like, that's who I am. I remember Kevin was there, and it was awkward, and then he had a private conversation with me, and he told me, he was like, you know, it wasn't until you were gone I realized how important you were, and I didn't appreciate you the way I should have, and I didn't treat you the way I should have. He's like, I'm really sorry about that. And that meant so much to me, because something I didn't realize until like 5 years ago is even though I had a job lined up with TNA after they gave me the boot in WWE, and even though I was over there doing Selena's and living the best life of Selena's, I was still her. Like, I worked so hard just to get fired for that, like for telling people what's up. Like, and I'm going to set the record here. I don't think this, and I haven't for years, but even I used to think that my incident with Batista was why I got fired. It's not. Before Batista, I told off Randy Orton. And before I told off Randy Orton, I told off Shawn Michaels. Getting in a fight with Batista, they're probably like, this bitch, get her out. Get her out, because no, it's not Batista's fault. And so I wish people would stop pushing that narrative.
Your feud with Francine. I just really, really loved it because that was like OG ECW versus new ECW. I just love that whole concept.
Oh my gosh. So I knew Francine from before because we were in this terrible promotion together. Oh, God.
All wanting.
WEW, do you know them? I really got to be cool with her, obviously, because once ECW came back and it was the fake ECW, we would ride together and things like that. So I'm grateful that we got to have the feud because it brought us closer together, and we're still really good friends to this day. Professionally, I thought it was so freaking cool. Like how you said it, like the new ECW versus that's the story writes itself, brother. And the fact that Francine and I are the type of entertainers that we are, we could have done so much. Right. I was never into ECW back in the day, so a lot of Francine's stuff I've only become familiar with throughout the years. When I see certain stuff, I'm like, dude, that's why she's that badass. Like, she's that badass. She is the queen of extreme.
Right.
Like, yeah, she really is. Like, there's moments even nowadays when I'd see things, I'll be like, man, we could have done like so much.
The women's division of that ECW had so much potential because Jazz was there. I feel like you versus Jazz.
Imagine.
Were you guys all backstage at least? Like, they were just wasn't used.
Yeah. When you put it like that, that's really sad. I didn't think of it like that.
And Trinity, you used to work with Trinity in OVW too, right?
Sure did.
Okay. I mean, how was the morale of the Divas division in ECW?
I'm not going to get into it, but Trinity was weird. Other than that, it was fine. Like, we had Kelly Kelly, who I got to know at OVW because her and Alicia Fox, they were there, got sent there at the same time. So I had some cool memories with her. Brooke, I always really liked Brooke. Was Crystal ECW or was she just hanging out with us? Yeah, we had a good group. I felt, something I didn't even know until the last few years. There were people that were trying to pin me and Candice Michelle against each other.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
For what reason?
People would get in my ear and be like, oh, well, Candice Michelle. Like, they were trying to compare me to her. Oh. And low-key talking crap about her to see what they could pull out of me. And I'd be like, I like her. She's nice. Like, and you know what it is? Going back to, I didn't realize how sexual my thing. She was another person. Oh. So because I remember thinking, why are they comparing me to her? There's only one female vampire, and that's me. So there's no competition. Yeah. Like, I don't have any interest in going for the women's belt or having more TV time. I was happy with the TV time I had. I knew my place on the card. I knew my place in the ring. I knew my place ringside. I knew my place in the mic. Like, I knew my place. So I played accordingly. But everyone just thought I was this not everyone, but a lot of people thought I was this puppet master. And it's like, wow, you gave me a lot of credit there. But no, dude, I didn't know her that well, but she was always super nice to me to this day. And they also try to get me against Lita.
What?
Because she was in her last run at that time when I started. And so people would try to talk crap about her to me and be like, what do you think? And there were always dudes. So these dudes over here trying to stir the pot and try to get a feud between me and Lita and a feud between me and Candice Michelle.
I have to talk about your amazing feud with Kelly Kelly because we loved it. I mean, what was your experience working with Kelly Kelly? She was literally so young.
She was, but she was willing to do whatever, And here's the thing, even though she was so young, even when I see clips back now, I'm like, she was really good at what she was doing, even being that young. It looked believable. Yeah. You know what I mean? It didn't look like, with all due respect, some other girls are like, maybe they're supposed to look like they're worried or they're concerned. Like, I think about how she looked when Mike Knox like left her at the ring, you know what I mean? Like, that looked for real. Like, you know, she did good. She was so young. She didn't have to train and try, you know what I'm saying? Like, people don't give these girls credit. And what's interesting is, because of my modeling and acting background, they kind of categorize me as like diva search girl. And so some girls treated me a little different. And for me, I was always kind of like, dude, I can go and I put the work in, so I don't have to be like proving myself to anybody. So I let them think that, okay, think I suck. I don't care. Okay, sure, I suck. That's why I gravitated, I feel, more towards, after Francine was gone, the diva search girls, or like Kelly Kelly. Like, I traveled with her for a little bit. Crystal Marshall, Brooke. They made me feel just like normal. We were all just these girls living this crazy carny life, and we all kind of got a little down the nose look from our peers because we were like not real wrestlers, and it sucked because it's like, dude, come on, then put me in a match. I feel all my matches have been kind of like a gimmicky kind of thing, you know?
ECW, yeah. Were there divas that you wish you had a longer program with that you didn't get to?
Well, of course, Francine. We could have went so far with it and then been one of those girls that, like, after we get everything we can out of it, we team up and then maybe go after a Layla and Kelly Kelly, and then we're the heels. Do that for as long as we can and then turn on each other. And then there's not everybody you can have that dynamic with in wrestling. So it's really cool when you can, because you can just work it for so long. So I feel me and Francine could have had that. I feel that me and Beth could have had a really good match because I trusted her. I was so trusting of my body to Beth that I know I could have just really given it my all. You know what I'm saying?
I got a lot of questions about this.
Go ahead.
Your looks were so cute as Ariel. Everyone was like, can you please ask her where she was shopping?
Hot Topic.
Really?
Hot Topic and Hollywood Boulevard and the Hustler store.
Oh my God.
Mostly Hot Topic.
I want to go into the Knockouts era, but before we do that, we talked about it briefly. But the Batista thing, the more untold story, it seems like, is that I heard you got to talk to him, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. So I got invited to the red carpet premiere of the movie Immortals. He wasn't in the movie, but he was there. And I was like, oh. And so at this point, I had really healed even more, whatever. So after the movie was over, and then that was a trip, because that's all about good and evil and like what Batista at that point like meant to me. And it's like good and evil, the wrestling world. It was a lot, dude. But I went up to him and I was just like, hey, you know, positive vibes. You probably think I'm crazy, and I like told him this whole thing. He's like, oh, well, you don't know my mom then, meaning like, oh, you know, he's used to spiritual talk and whatever. And I was like, I think it'd be really cool if we got a picture together. And so we took a picture. And I took that picture because for myself, and then to kind of just be a sign of, it's fine. Like I said earlier, I can't be bitter. I got to be the effing vampire and a pirate for a day, and a freaking chola. So come on. There's the people that are mad at Batista about it, and it's like, why are you mad at him? I'm not mad at him. And then there's the people, oh, she banged him and she's just mad. I never banged Batista. He's not my type. No offense. I have never kissed him. He has never, well, maybe on the internet he's seen me naked.
You joined the Knockouts division, which was just like really, really getting hot. You were at the history-making moment of the inaugural Knockouts championship match, the Gauntlet. And what a just great roster.
OM to the G. Yeah. Are you kidding me? And then for me, it was really awesome because some of the gals on that roster were gals that I've watched up until that point in my career always almost get cool opportunities, but then it just doesn't work out. And hello, my story. So I'm very empathetic towards other wrestlers that have that same, you almost got it, and then da-da-da. And so it was cool to see that TNA, especially at that time, really were highlighting those girls that deserve to be on television. They deserve to be highlighted. They deserve the opportunities that they were getting. And it was so freaking cool. I felt like, you know, finally ODB's on there, you know, finally Tracy Brooks. I know she was with TNA from the beginning. So it's like, finally she's shining, and it's like, whatever, you know. And it was just so cool. Or even like Kong, you know, Angel Williams, you know, and then freaking Velvet Sky, you know, she was always around. And, you know, it was just so cool to see these ladies get their TV time. Well deserved.
I mean, I have to talk about my badge.
Oh my gosh, I love talking about my badge. My badge, my badge. Oh, my badge. One of the things that I live for in life, I like to make people laugh. And if I'm making my friends laugh, that's like the ultimate, like I'm fulfilling my purpose.
Okay.
When I was in WWE, Francine and I were real rough around the edges in our talk. We would say vag. We refer to vag, like vag. And so when Jillian had the mole, Francine's like, what's up, vag face? And she's like, that's such a gross word. Like, why do you guys keep saying vag? And I was like, what? Like vag face? And so she would genuinely get grossed out by us that we would call it vag. It wasn't just vag face, but like when we talk about our vag, like, hey, make sure your vag is clean. You got to make sure it's clean. So that's how we talked, you know? And so I thought there's a good chance that Francine and Jillian can hear about this. So I'm going to pop them. So that's when I screened my vag. My vag, it hurts. And
did Rebel know about this?
No.
Oh, so she didn't expect you to...
Well, it was on a whim because when we were going, I'm thinking, oh, you know what? I would really like... This is how my brain works, people. While she's doing the, like, working me, I'm thinking, dude, I would love to make Francine and Jillian laugh. Like, I got to make them laugh. Yeah, long live the vag, you know? Long live the vag.
What was the reaction to that backstage? Because commentary was acted like they didn't hear it. They're like...
I don't know, because here's the thing. I take full blame for botching my match with Rebel. I don't know what it was, but I just got the vibe that maybe some people or maybe just a person wanted her to fail backstage. And I had many people backstage that wanted me to fail that night. So when we were in the ring, where we were a little too far, so I needed to do something. So I told the ref, tell her to cut me off. So I was going to act like I was going to do a dive and have her cut me off. Right. So when I went, I saw she wasn't, in my opinion, quite there yet. So I cut myself off. That's what it was.
Right.
I was a vet at that point, and I'm very disappointed with myself that this happened because I know better. I should have just continued to go through, and if she wasn't there, it just would have looked like, oh, she went to the dive. It wouldn't have been the joke that it is today. It is what it is. I embrace it. But at that time, I was like, dang, I wanted my job back. I knew better and it sucks and I had to live with it, but it is what it is. So that's why I just kind of went along with it and I started making fun of it. I was like, it is funny.
I mean, here's the thing. It was a very entertaining match. I think there are few matches that lives on in the memory of the women's wrestling fans. And that's one of them. We will talk about it. Now there's my whole one too. So it's like my whole, my badge. It will be legendary forever. So it's a very appreciated thing. Going off of that, I was wondering, because I feel like both as Ariel and even in TNA to a point, I feel like you didn't really get a chance. I mean, you had great matches. I personally did really like, although controversial, that Jacqueline match. I thought it was really great. But do you feel like you weren't given enough opportunity to show your wrestling skills?
1,000,000%. And I just knew my role. Like, I wasn't going to sit there and fight for, like, in politic I was just like, dude, I got to be a vampire. Now I get to be a chola. Like, I had fun with both. Like, when people say which one was better, I can't answer that because it's just two different experiences. Yeah, it sucks. But that's where it goes back to the indies. When I went back, I had some great matches, dude. Like, oh my God, like you don't even know. Like, I had some amazing matches with some people that really meant a lot to me. Who cares if it wasn't in WWE? Who cares if it wasn't in TNA? I don't have anything to prove. People that I've trained with know how hard I train. People who I have had matches with know what I bring to the table. So does that audience. So that's why, like, go ahead. Sure, I suck. My vag, yeah, ooh.
I can still feel so much love you have for pro wrestling.
I do, yeah. I do.
And of course, a lot of heartbreak too. So where are you with wrestling now? I mean, you announced your retirement, right?
Yeah, I've been retired because after the TNA thing didn't work, went and continued indies, and that's when I was just like, dude, if I'm going to do this, it has to be worth the money. And the only way it's going to be worth the money is if I go back to WWE. So I thought long and hard if that's what I wanted to do. I actually got booked as a Rosebud.
Oh, really?
I don't know if it was a little slap to my face or what they were trying to do, but I needed the money, first of all, to because I was a broke ass.
Did you
needed
do it?
them. Oh, yeah, I did.
You were on TV?
It was on a house show.
Oh, house show. Okay.
What was the guy's name?
Adam Rose?
I remember I went up to him and I was like, hey, what if like when we're out there, you spin me around and I'll like give you a kiss on the cheek? And he was like, oh, I don't want to get heat. So, and I was like, all right, never mind. But what's funny is I took an edible in the parking lot, walk in, and it tripped me out because everything just seemed the same. And then the first person I saw was this dude who I do not like in wrestling. And I'm like, oh, great. Of course. The first person I see is this guy. And he was like, oh, come on, give me a hug. And I'm just like, so then I go in the bathroom and I pour vodka in my Gatorade. I had all these different encounters because at that point, I wasn't familiar with the product, but I'd see things here and there. And I really thought that Lana character was really, really cute.
Yes.
Like, I was like, whoa, that is so cute. And so when I saw her, I had to tell her. And I was like, whatever. She was really nice about it. And then Rosa Mendes was there. And I did her dirty back in OVW. I stiffed her real ugly. And I gave her a concussion. That was the old school in me. And later in life, I was like, I could have really hurt her. And I feel like a piece of crap for that. And I owe her an apology. And I've always been open about that. And so I took the opportunity. I had that vodka in my Gatorade. I was on that edible. I did not care. I went right up to her and I was like, she's like, you gave me my first concussion. And I said, you know what? And I owe you an apology. And so I apologized. So people that try to stir the pot out there you go. I apologized to her and she deserves it. And I will continue to apologize. It's ugly. It's ugly. I was so intrigued by Bray Wyatt, of course.
Oh, yeah.
And this was like, I can't even remember what year it was. Maybe 2014, 15. And I'm not here to whatever. This is what he told me. He was like, they've thrown your name around about being Sister Abigail.
Oh.
He's like, I'm a big fan of like what you and Kevin used to do. And he started marking out for me. And I was like, you're marking out for me. And so I was like, whoa, that's crazy. And so I'm like, well, maybe this is my chance. So that's why I told the Adam Rose guy, I was like, oh, I need to get noticed. And he was like, oh, I don't want any heat. I was like, all right, that's fine. Yeah, I pretty much feel they were like, this bitch is going up to people, airing out grievances. She smells like vodka. Her eyes are tiny. She's high. So I think that's when WWE was like, nah.
Oh.
I still was a Rosebud and got that money though.
Because fans want to see that banger of a theme song, first of all. We want that iconic entrance again, potentially for a Rumble.
You know what? There was a time that I would say, even if WWE offered me $1 million, I'd never go back. But I'd be open to it.
Okay.
For the fans. And that's the only reason. Look, you guys deserve something. Like, you deserve either me and Kevin doing something that is on a big scale or me and LAX doing something. And there was a time I said for many years, I will never work with Hernandez again. But you know what? I would put that aside for the fans.
I want to end this interview with saying that, again, when I said I will be interviewing you, so many people were excited. Women's wrestling fans, we still remember you to this day. We talk about your entrance often, very often. And again, the only vampire character, you're so unique to us. You are part of the history that we really cherish. There were so many comments saying, please tell her that we love you.
Oh, well, I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's crazy because, like I said, for me with wrestling, the way I went into it, I didn't watch my stuff back. It was one and done. Okay, what's the next thing we're going to do? What's the next thing we're going to do? It's easy to get lost in how it affects others. And it's really cool to realize all this because I know it sounds like an asshole, I know. But I just didn't realize how I was coming across on the TV there. And then on top of it, it's these effing nerds that I got caught up with behind the scenes, these boys, they were so lucky to be hooking up with me. Ew. Causing me drama. You guys talk about me behind my back to this day. You don't think I don't know. It's just crazy because now I know how they were looking at me. And that's why it makes sense when they got to know me as a person. Like, it didn't match.
What message do you have for the fans that still love you to this day? They still think about you. They cherish you. What do you want to tell them?
What I appreciate about the supportive fans out there through thick and thin. And it's really, especially in wrestling, it's really hard being a female wrestler. It's so freaking hard. There's like so much that goes into it. We often have been able to survive because of the fans and the support and the energy. It's all about the fans. I'm just letting you guys know, like, without the fans, we're nothing. And in the wrestling world, it's just the sad truth. It's not being bitter Shelly. The women really get a short rap in it. Like, we're not paid as much. We don't get some of the same respect. It just is what it is. So it's hard. It's really, really hard. And the fans have helped us ladies stay afloat when we've needed you guys the most. So positive vibes to the fullest.